Alright, welcome back to another Art of War 3 replay. I'm your host, JEONG SINAH, and today we're going to be doing a tournament battle. This is the AOW3 Birthday Tournament. I'm going to be the blue Confederate player facing off against a Resistance player with an 80% win rate and a Medalist. So, this should be an interesting matchup. Here we go. We're getting a scout onto the red player's base. Meanwhile, I am continuing to tech up on my end. I've got 5 supply centers going for some factories and some barracks upgrades here. Going to get some typhoons out as well for defense. We can see that red has been pretty aggressive with collecting those resource containers on the battlefield. So I've been able to secure one of those containers that has the prizes in them. We can see a dragonfly on the battlefield, so possible dragonfly spam or just scouts for map control. So I've got a hammer going out to get some map control. We can see a couple more dragonflies there, so there's already 3 dragonflies on the battlefield so far. So either really spread out map control again, or we're going to see some mass dragonflies. So I don't like where this is going. I'm really suspicious of a mass dragonfly with infantry and coyote build that's going to hit my base. So I'm starting to prepare for that by producing heavy assaults along with typhoons. Getting a hammer tank to go over and scout the red player's base. Meanwhile, we can see that red's trying to get a scout on me. We can see there's a special vehicle factory, a couple assault vehicle factories that are level 1. And we can see dragonflies coming out. We can see there's multiple dragonflies already on the battlefield. So red is most likely going for a mass dragonfly build. And look at that. That is a huge army from the red player. We see dragonflies, coyotes, and infantry. That's a lot of dragonflies. And so I'm going to need to move my army back towards my base to defend. But I honestly don't know if I can defend this. That's a lot of dragonflies. And I just don't know if I have enough anti-air in the mix. So here we go, a gold air raid boost to just maximize my firepower and defense. But this is so many dragonflies, and my army composition is not optimal. This might be the end for me here. As these dragonflies come in, they're going to hit my special vehicle factory, and we're going to see if we can get a couple more typhoons out before I lose the factories. One of the factories goes down. I don't get the typhoon out. The typhoon comes out of my other factory. So now I'm trying to produce cyclones and heavy assaults as quickly as I can while keeping the gold air raid boost going. My typhoons that I previously made are starting to come into the mix. We can see that my hammer tanks are wandering around my base, but there's no target for my hammers to hit whatsoever. Another gold air raid boost goes down. These dragonflies are raining heavy fire onto my forces here. My typhoons are dishing out steady damage against the dragonflies, but I am just heavily outnumbered here. Continue to just produce as many units as possible that can counter these dragonflies is very essential at this stage. We can see that there's reinforcements coming in from the red player, more dragonflies coming into the mix. I'm continuing to make heavy assaults and cyclones to target those dragonflies. I'm going to try and get some more typhoons out to hit those dragonflies. We can see the numbers are slowly starting to thin out actually, so things are actually looking good. Red is going to retreat. They do not want to continue to press the assault, it looks like. So this is going to give me some breathing room. We can see I'm dropping triple anti-air towers as a precaution if I get hit again by the red player. So we can see that I'm trying to get a scout there to get that resource container, but it's not going to happen. So most of my economy is actually intact. So that was a pretty good defense overall. But here we go. Dragonfly is coming back in. Red's not finished yet though. Gonna throw on a gold attack boost this time because there's some infantry mixed in from the red player. The majority of this attack force is dragonflies, but I want to take care of the infantry on the ground. So we can see here that the dragonflies are dishing out some really good damage, trying to single out my typhoons and some of my other units. The cyclones are coming in handy though to tank some of the damage that would otherwise go on to my typhoons. So we can see reinforcements coming in from the red player. Red is going to retreat though, reposition and try to take out my cyclones there. I'm going to reposition my cyclones. I don't want to get too close to those dragonflies. So we're trying to bring units in now, and we're just going to try to produce a standing army of some kind. Red's continuing to put pressure on me, though, with all these units streaming in. Dragonflies and infantry now. I've got the Cyclones to counter both the Dragonflies and the infantry, though. This is going to be a good combination of Typhoons with the Cyclones. So I've now been able to push the red player back to the middle of the base here. We can see that red is doing a good job collecting containers on the battlefield, really trying to secure those resources for unit production. I'm going to go ahead and even it out, though, get some more resources of my own. And I'm going to take the fight over to the red player. I'm going to apply some pressure. Let's see what kind of damage we can do. So we don't see any defensive structures at the front of Red's base. Red's got some Dragonflies in the mix, though, as I suspected. Here comes some Hawks, though. The Hawks dish out some good damage against my units here. And my Typhoons are basically targeting down the Dragonflies. But those Hawks are dishing out the damage and are free to rain heavy fire. Those missiles and machine gun bullets doing some really good damage to my units. And my attack force has lost its anti-air support. And it looks like my ground troops are going to be able to continue to press for a little bit, but I'm starting to run out of time here. There's 8 Hawks total in play, I think. A couple Dragonflies coming out for the red player. Trying to take out an airfield here, but it's not going to happen. I don't have enough Cyclones in the mix to take out that airfield. And it looks like I'm going to lose the last bits of my ground attack there. So I'm going to continue to produce some troops here, but I'm also going to upgrade to HQ4. My current plan now is to go for triple special vehicle factory, and I'm just going to spam as many Typhoons as I can and mix in a combination of heavy assaults and Cyclones. We can see that I've got enough Typhoons in the mix there to push the red player away. Red does not want to come after me at this point. Looks like we're able to push away Red once again. Red trying to probe my defenses here, but it's not going to work out. So I'm going to go ahead and retreat. I'm not going to launch my full attack just yet. I want to assemble a full HQ4 army. And here we go. Now we're launching our final attack here. Here we go. Gold common attack boost here. We're going to try and capture this container. And here come the Hawks. There's a ton of Hawks in play here, but I've got a ton of Typhoons. It's Aviation spam versus Typhoon spam. Which one is going to take the win here? I've got the gold air raid boost that's going, and those Dragonflies are disappearing fast. I've got so many Typhoons in play here, and they're ripping apart these Hawks. We can see those Hawks are taking some heavy fire from my ground troops. And it looks like these Typhoons are starting to come out with the win here, potentially. I am taking some really good casualties, but Typhoons are much cheaper to replace than Hawks. We can see that the red player is only down to a handful of Hawks at this point. It's not looking good for red at all, and I'm continuing to just mass produce units. Meanwhile, I'm going to push some Cyclones onto the red player. And we're going to take out a Hawk there on the airfield. There's Dragonflies trying to take out my Cyclones here, but my Cyclones are decently well upgraded. I don't want to stay for too long. I'm going to go ahead and retreat. We're going to establish a front line near the red player's base at the place where the prize container is supposed to spawn in. We can see the Dragonflies are coming back in. But look how red is starting to play a little more defensively with these Dragonflies. They're not just sending the Dragonflies straight in to attack my troops, which means red only has a handful of Dragonflies to work with. So once I assemble a good solid army, I think I'll be able to move in and dish out some good damage against the red player. So I'm going to slowly move my Typhoons and troops up. Looks like red doesn't want to have anything to do with my Typhoons. So I'm going to continue to just produce more units, get some more troops to the front line, continue to make those Typhoons. I've got a lot of Typhoons in play here. And here we go, final attack of this game here. It's mass Typhoons with ground troops versus mass Dragonflies. And it looks like I'm doing a good job dealing with the troops that red is defending with. And red is in trouble here. We are right at the front lines of the red player's base, and it doesn't look like red's got anything to send except for these Dragonflies, but there are just way too many Typhoons for the Dragonflies to deal with. Look at how much fire there is on those Dragonflies, and these last bits of Dragonflies are getting cleaned up. And it is right around this time red's going to self-destruct their own base, and it is good game. Alright, hope you all enjoyed this battle. We'll see you in the next one.